The sports page brought to you by Don Mealy Chevrolet. Nobody does trucks like Don Mealy, where they are celebrating their 50th anniversary in Central Florida. And right now they have more than 50 Silverados in stock. Save up to $11,000. Chevy together. Let's drive. Where do you guys want to start this morning?
Well, the Reds went quietly into the night.
Yeah, the Reds went quietly. My Dodgers closed them out 8-4. So the Dodgers advanced to play the Phillies, who many people are picking the Phillies to win the World Series this year. They've been the best team in the NL, so that's going to be a hell of a series, the Dodgers and the Phillies. The other three wild card series all tied up now. The Yankees avoid elimination. They beat the Red Sox 4-3. The Cleveland tied Detroit last night. The Guardians win. I still can't get used to calling them the Guardians. So the Guardians tied the Tigers. They beat them last night 6-1. And the Padres tied the series with the Cubbies. Padres win last night 3-0. Manny Machado with a big 2-run homer in the fifth.
Can we all be on the record right now that, Pat, you heard it, the listeners heard it, it was my Dodgers. Let's see how many times that switches. How many times?
Well, they've been my Dodgers since childhood, but I do have some other teams that I like.
Let me guess, the Mariners.
I do like the Mariners because they're sort of a Cinderella story. They've never been to the World Series. So, yeah, I root for the Mariners. Plus, they have the Cal Raleigh story, the slugging catcher who they call the Big Dumper because he has a big booty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is true. I saw an interview with him yesterday. That guy's a stud.
Yeah, we should call Taco Bob the Big Dumper.
We already do.
Yeah.
That's just one of the many pet names.
And I have no butt.
Thursday night football tonight. Good game tonight. Although Brock Purdy's not going to play for the 49ers. He's out with I think it's an injured toe, if I'm not mistaken. So Brock Purdy will not play 49ers against the Rams. That's a really good game. That NFC West, when you look at it, it's quietly, I don't know if it's the best division in football, but it's certainly the most competitive. The Rams, the 49ers, and the Seahawks, all 3-1. Yeah. Arizona's 2-2. So that's a good little division they got going out there in the NFC West. College football. Did you guys see this news? The Big Ten is about to get in bed with essentially a private equity firm, a hedge fund, if you will. They're going to get this is almost a done deal. They're going to get a private capital deal that would infuse at least $2 billion into the league and its schools. And in return, I guess this private equity firm they're working with is going to share in future profits of the league. So, yeah, the college football is essentially turning into a hedge fund. You guys have a problem with that? Private equity essentially buying into college football?
Just at this point, whatever.
Although our newspaper's owned by a hedge fund, maybe the hedge fund will help college football control their spending because they're certainly helping our newspaper control our spending.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The irony here is when you hear about private equity coming in, the first thing they do is look for redundancies. Mm-hmm. You know, they have all this corporate speak for laying people off and eliminating positions. Yeah. You go into something like the Big Ten, no, they want it to be as successful as possible. So, you know.
Well, college football certainly has some redundancy in it. I mean, you look at some of these bloated staffs and the amount of money these coaches make and the contract buyouts. Hell, maybe the hedge funds will be good for college football. Who knows?
It just seems like
cut out some of the dead weight.
Seems like a gray area to me. Am I the only one there? It's just like Pat said.
Gray to me. It's great to us, Taco Bob, because we don't understand how private equity works.
Well, there's also, I mean, look, let's be honest. At least they're being open about what they're doing. The stuff that we don't know what's going on behind the scenes is probably more concerning.
Yeah.
Right. Speaking of college football, Lane Kiffin did an interview with ESPN yesterday. Of course, Ole Miss is rolling right now, number 4 in the country. They just came off that big win against LSU. He says the dynasty era of the SEC is over. He says there's going to be no more, dynasties like Alabama and then Georgia. He said it's just too hard now. They're going to a 9-game schedule. You've added Texas and Oklahoma to the league. He said SEC fans better get used to, the top of the league better get used to 9-3, even 8-4 records, because it's too tough to have a dynasty now, especially with NIL sort of spreading out the talent throughout the league. So I think he's right.
Well, also to spring off of what he's saying there, the days of where if you have one bad loss just wrecking your chances, that kind of sucked, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it made the games bigger. It made the games seem bigger because one loss, you're right, you're out. But yeah, you can lose a couple times now, but you still can't lose 3 or 4 times.
Prime example of what you guys are talking about, Pat, what you said yesterday with this Saturday game that nobody's really put this out to Bianchi.
Okay, so it was the end of the world, right, for Alabama when Florida State upset them first game of the season, right? But I think an angle going into this weekend's game with, the in-state rivalry with the Canes visiting the Noles, I don't hear a lot of people talking about the upside for Florida State. If they upset Miami, all of a sudden, Florida State has 2 huge quality wins.
Right.
And,
and then the Virginia loss is meaningless.
Right, exactly. Yep. That's the point. So, anything's possible here, man.
By the way, one last thing. The Florida State-Miami game, and again, it's a big game, all right? But can we stop with this narrative that this is the 2 teams are back to where they were in their heydays? Come on.
Let's discuss that again like at the end of November.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But this game still doesn't feel as big as the games did back then, does it?
There's pretty good situation, I think. Good vibe going in this one on Saturday.
And Bulldog, you can join Pat and I. We're going to be at the Hideaway watching. We're having a watch party for this game. Hideaway right there on Virginia, near downtown, not in downtown. We're going to be out there starting at 6:30 Saturday night. Come on by, dog.
It's going to be huge. I'm actually going to be in Gainesville at the Texas-Florida game.
Damn. Right. He is Mike the Bulldog Bianchi, host of Game On with Brandon Kravitz, weekday afternoon, starting at 3 on FM 96.9 The Game.
Happy birthday to the great Don McLean. Bye, Miss American Pie. Oh.
Lynch and Taco on demand. Download the iHeartRadio app.
Looking at heavy morning delays already on I-4 eastbound in the Orlando area for those traveling between